my producer from Argentina. We brought you the ones that are filled with dulce de leche.
Yes, thank you. You have no idea.
I think that's your
snack
today.
What are they?
They're alfajores. They have dulce de leche inside of them. They are so
They're from
good.
We'll be hitting those later for
Yeah.
Cigar box.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Amigos de Warner Channel, llega Furiosa a la pantalla grande. La precuela de Mad Max Fury Road es una nueva aventura llena de adrenalina, acción y muchas revelaciones. Acompáñanos en este Inside Warner para celebrar el estreno de la película, donde exploraremos el apocalíptico mundo de Mad Max y conoceremos más sobre la legendaria Furiosa, descubriendo los secretos detrás de este épico film. Yo soy Gaby, bienvenidos.
As a child, my world was forever changed. My mother was magnificent. And he took it all from me.
Who do we have here?
My childhood. My mother. I want them back.
En esta película hay un momento donde a Furiosa le preguntan si tiene lo que se necesita para hacerlo épico. ¿Te has hecho esa pregunta en algún momento de tu vida y cómo te ha ayudado Furiosa a responderla?
Creo que esta película me mostró la tenacidad que tengo. Fue un rodaje muy duro, estamos todos muy cansados, pero ¿cómo podemos hacer esto más mágico?
Do you have it in you to make it epic?
Y algo que a mí me impactó de esta película es que yo vi a un personaje, no vi a dos actrices interpretándolo.
Gracias.
¿Tú te ves a ti misma en las demás personas que interpretan a Furiosa?
Fue finalmente cuando como estaba vestida un poquitito más de una manera como la conocemos a Furiosa, había mucha gente del crew que había trabajado en Fury Road y cuando primero salí del trailer, todos hicieron como un... Y pensé, ok, bueno, esto va a funcionar. Va a funcionar. Al principio hablábamos mucho del pelo. Furiosa tiene una esperanza que puede volver a su casa todavía siendo parte de esa chiquitita que la robaron. Entonces, en el momento donde se le sacamos el pelo, te das cuenta que no se puede volver de la misma manera y ahora es una criatura diferente.
There will always be war, but to get home, Furiosa fought the world.
Y por supuesto que para esta gran aventura sobre ruedas estoy acompañada de mi mejor compañera Valentina Pulgarín de Warner Channel Brasil.
Estoy lista, Gaby, vamos.
¡Vamos! ¡Woo!
Something that really amazes me in this movie is the fact that you had the story of Furiosa already before we saw Fury Road. What are the pros of releasing these movies in a non-chronological order?
I wanted to tell the story of Fury Road, but to tell that story, which only happens over 3 days and 2 nights, there's a lot of backstory that you had to pick up on the run.
And the Bible was over there.
So we had to create the Bible. Mm-hmm. And that was the story of Furiosa and the story of Max in the year before we meet him. So we couldn't make the anime before we made Fury Road. So we made Fury Road, and it because it got traction out there with audiences, we said, okay, let's do Furiosa.
Remember me.
When you get the screenplay, how do you respond back to George to make sure the man knows you are serious about getting this job and you really want this?
I think I got the script maybe the day before I auditioned, so it was less like, do I really want to do this? It was more, he just gave me the job and it was just happening. Like, of course, I think because he has such a storied past and his films are so incredible, it would be sort of strange for an actor to not want to be a part of it, maybe?
It is.
He's such a master, such an auteur, such a visionary that I think, all of us are kind of lining up, waiting to be, to be pulled into the
mastermind,
into the
Dr.
fray.
George. Yeah.
And I had a meeting with him 2 years before we started shooting, and we talked a lot about character, and that sort of, I guess, got me the part. But both of us had the same response when we saw Fury Road. It was just like, oh my God, this is one of the best films we've ever seen, and love to be a part of the world, and thankfully we were brought in.
We were brought in, yeah.
I am the great Dementius, and I rule the wasteland like
Remember me.
I know George suggested you to journal.
Yeah.
What did you journal about? Like, what kind of things would I read in that journal?
As Dementius, I was trying to journal and write things that in his voice, and a lot of it was about his trauma, but from the past. And I think what really helped me land or have a better handle on the character was, oh, this is where he's come from. This is what happened to him. He may have lost a child. He may have, or he has suffered as well. And so you begin to go, well, who knows how you'd act in that space.
No shame in hate. It's one of the great forces of nature. That wasn't hope, that was instinct.
Was there any inputs that you had on set in Fury Road that actually made your life easier when you got back to the desert for Furiosa?
On the first Fury Road, when you're designing post-apocalyptic world, everything had to be made from found objects repurposed. So everything you saw, like even Max's mask, was made of a garden fork. That took a while to get that through all of our design crew, all of our costumes and props and vehicle designers and whatever. And also there was the notion that just because the world is basically reduced and impoverished, it doesn't mean that people stop making beautiful things.
I love about Mad Max in general and Furiosa how you find random things because everything is repurposed, like you know the mannequin in the motorcycle. Having been on set, what was the most random thing you found, and like did it have a meaning?
I mean, the teddy bear was pretty random. The teddy bear was just part of the costume, but there wasn't necessarily a story attached to it in the script. And George and I discussed at length whether maybe it was his once upon a time, or maybe it was belonged to his child, and that was the direction we ended up going in. And then it began to sort of hold a place throughout the film, a lot more prominent than we had first imagined, and became quite symbolic for his own loss of innocence, and then it also, I think, was represented something to Furiosa as well, which, again, open to interpretation from the audience, but it was a really strong sort of reminder for me to not take anything for granted on the page or on screen, that everything did have to have a purpose and a place, and it wasn't just random.
It's very impressive to me seeing Anya over there doing the stunts and driving all around and finding out afterwards that you don't have a driver's license.
No.
Is that still happening?
I still don't have a driver's license. I got my wasteland license. Like the only things I know how to do in a car
Do you have on
are the
paper?
things. I have it on screen. The only things I know how to do in a car are the stunts in this movie. So I'd be curious to see how I would get on with like a normal driver's test.
Do you guys have any abilities that maybe you would be a little bit sad to admit right now you still don't have, and you feel like in a future movie you should learn it?
I wish I could draw anything. I have such an inability to draw. Like I can't paint, I can finger paint, but like that's pretty much it. And I've always wanted to be able to do it.
That's amazing.
You just said embarrassing thing.
Well, just that you can't
I can't speak Spanish. That's embarrassing.
What is taking you?
You're busy. I'm not trying to excuse you, but I'm trying to explain you. You're busy.
Excuse me, please.
I'm Furiosa!
Anya, since Chris got the chance to be in this amazing Australian franchise, do you have the same thing? Like, do you have a director from one of your many nationality and home countries? A director or a project that you would love to be a part?
I would love to both speak in Spanish in my like native Argentine accent, and then I'd also love the challenge of seeing if I could do a more Spanish accent. I'd be really curious to see if I could like attempt to do a different accent in Spanish.
Have you done a film in Spanish?
Never.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Still waiting. Yeah, so I think just that would be so exciting for me.
Such a dream. Yeah, I get it.
Y amigos, cuando se trata de épico, Furioso no deja nada a desear, ni siquiera la promoción de la película. No se imaginan la sensacional experiencia que tuvimos aquí antes de ver la película en el famoso teatro chino. Vengan a ver un pedazo de lo que fue esta espectacular invasión de Mad Max, precisamente en el famoso Paseo de la Fama. Acompañarlos en esta aventura para conocer un poco más sobre uno de los estrenos más esperados de la temporada. Recuerden que Furiosa se estrena este 23 de mayo y no se la pueden perder. Síganos en las redes sociales de Warner Channel para más noticias y contenido exclusivo del mundo de Mad Max. Yo soy Gaby Cam y esto fue Inside Warner, Furiosa.